Hi there. Welcome to MeetABetterSelf, your go-to channel for personal growth and development. If you haven't yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our empowering content. Now, let's dive in. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to approach life's challenges with grace and flexibility, while others seem stuck in their ways, unable to adapt or see things from a different perspective? This disparity often boils down to something called cognitive levels. Now, this might sound like a term straight out of a psychology textbook, but don't worry, we'll break it down together. Imagine two people looking at a number on the ground. One insists it's a 6, the other is certain it's a 9. Who is correct? Both are based on their viewpoints. This simple metaphor illustrates the importance of understanding and respecting different perspectives. Let's take a deeper look at this idea of perspective taking with a story from the classic novel To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper. If you're not familiar with it, the novel is set in the 1930s in a small, racially divided town in the American South. It's narrated by a young girl, Scout, who is the daughter of a lawyer named Atticus Finch. Now, Atticus Finch is a man of principle. In the midst of societal prejudice and bias, he stands as a moral compass, not only for the town, but also, and perhaps most importantly, for his children. One of his most memorable teachings to Scout is when he says, "You never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view, until you climb into his skin and walk around in it." This quote from Atticus is the embodiment of empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. It's a call for us to step outside of our comfort zones, to view the world not just from our own lens, but to experience it from the vantage point of others. In To Kill a Mockingbird, this lesson of empathy is tested when Atticus defends Tom Robinson, a black man wrongly accused of a crime. Despite the town's prejudice and the seemingly insurmountable odds against Tom, Atticus stands firm in his defense, urging the townsfolk to set aside their preconceived notions and biases, to see Tom not as a stereotype, but as a human being. The relevance of this narrative extends beyond the pages of the novel and into our daily lives. Like the metaphor of the number on the ground, the story of Atticus Finch and Scout teaches us the importance of viewing situations from different angles, of understanding that our perception is not the only truth. So how can we apply this lesson to our own lives? When we encounter opinions that differ from our own, let's remember Scout and Atticus Finch. Instead of dismissing these different views outright, let's try to climb into the other person's skin and walk around in it. You might be surprised at the insight and understanding you gain. After all, like Steve Jobs said, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. And sometimes, those dots belong to other people's perspective. Now, let's talk about the blame game. It's human nature to deflect blame, but people with lower cognitive levels often fall into this pattern more frequently. Let's delve into a true story that perfectly illustrates the notion of personal responsibility versus blame. For this, we're traveling back in time to the life of one of the most influential inventors in history, Thomas Edison. Many of you may know Edison as the genius behind the electric light bulb and the phonograph, but his journey to becoming a renowned inventor wasn't straightforward. When he was a young boy in school, a teacher told him he was too stupid to learn anything. Now, imagine being a young child and hearing those words from someone who was supposed to nurture your potential. It could have been a devastating blow, but Edison didn't crumble under this criticism. Instead, he took a different path. Did he point fingers at his teacher, blaming them for this harsh and discouraging remark? Did he let this teacher's perception define him? No, Edison chose a different path. He decided to become a self-taught learner, a path that eventually led him to patent over 1,000 inventions. Edison's life is filled with anecdotes of perseverance and resilience. One of the most famous is his journey to inventing the electric light bulb. It's said that he failed thousands of times before he finally succeeded. But Edison didn't see these as failures. Instead, he famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." What this story tells us is that Edison understood the concept of personal accountability. He realized that blaming others wouldn't change his circumstances. Rather than seeing himself through the eyes of his teacher, he chose to define his own narrative. This is the kind of self-reflection and personal accountability that signifies a higher cognitive level. It's about understanding that we have the power to change our circumstances, regardless of the opinions or actions of others. It's about cleaning our own window, so to speak, and seeing the world clearly. Like Edison, we should strive to take ownership of our actions and our learning. It's easy to point fingers, to blame others when things go wrong. It's much harder, but infinitely more rewarding, to look inward, to seek out our own faults and work on improving them. After all, as Edison showed us, it's through this process of trial and error, of self-reflection and perseverance that we truly grow and succeed. Moving on, let's talk about the fear of self-reflection. It's human nature to avoid looking inward, especially when we make mistakes. We prefer to find fault in others. But consider an inspiring story of self-reflection and personal accountability from the history of cinema, a tale told in the movie The Pursuit of Happiness. This movie is based on the real-life story of Chris Gardner, a struggling salesman who faced multiple adversities in his life. The film shows us his journey from living on the streets with his young son to becoming a successful stockbroker. In the movie, we see Gardner struggling to sell a medical device that he invested his life savings into, believing it would make him rich. But the device was expensive and not in high demand, leaving Gardner in a difficult financial situation. It would have been easy for him to blame the manufacturer of the device or the hospitals that wouldn't buy it. Instead, he chose a path of self-reflection and personal accountability. He realized that the root of his problems was not external factors, but his own decision to invest in the device without doing thorough research. Taking responsibility for his actions, Gardner started looking for new opportunities to turn his life around. Gardner didn't shy away from recognizing his mistakes. Instead, he embraced them as learning opportunities. His attitude reminds me of a quote by Winston Churchill: "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." So Gardner took on an unpaid internship at a stockbroker firm despite being homeless and caring for his young son. He faced countless rejections and hurdles, but he persevered. Through hard work and determination, he eventually earned a full-time position and later established his own multi-million-dollar brokerage firm. What Gardner's story teaches us is the value of self-reflection and personal accountability. It's about the courage to admit our own mistakes, learn from them, and then use those lessons to create a better future for ourselves. It's about not allowing fear to prevent us from growing. Lastly, let's discuss the resistance to change. In fact, it's often said that the only constant in life is change, but it's also an opportunity, a chance to adapt, learn, and grow. To illustrate this, let's look at an inspiring story from the world of business. It's the story of Netflix, a company that has become a household name all over the world. Netflix, as we know it today, is a streaming giant, offering thousands of movies and TV shows to millions of subscribers globally. But it wasn't always like this. In fact, Netflix started as a DVD by mail service in the late 90s. It was a simple yet innovative idea at the time, directly challenging the traditional video rental stores. But as the internet became faster and more accessible, the company's co-founder Reed Hastings saw an opportunity for change. He foresaw the potential of streaming media. Now this was a risky move, a complete shift from their existing business model. It would have been easy to resist this change, stick to what they knew, what was working. But Hastings was not one to shy away from change. Instead, he embraced it, betting on the future of streaming. And the rest, as they say, is history. Today, Netflix is a leader in online streaming, with the DVD by mail service being just a small fraction of their business. Netflix's story is a powerful example of embracing change, of seeing it not as a threat, but as an opportunity. It's a testament to the fact that adaptability is not just about survival, it's about thriving, growing, and staying ahead in a world that never stands still. So next time you're faced with a change, big or small, remember the story of Netflix. Ask yourself, how can you embrace this change? How can it help you grow? Because the ability to adapt to change is not just a survival skill. It's a key to unlocking personal and professional growth. As we conclude, let's remember the path to a higher cognitive level is paved with an open mind, self-reflection, and adaptability to change. The wise Socrates said, "The only thing I know is that I know nothing." This humility, this recognition of our own ignorance, is the first step towards learning and growing. Before we part ways, I would like you to ponder this. What changes can you embrace today to elevate your cognitive level? And how will this change impact your life and the lives of those around you? Thanks for joining me on this journey today. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to Meet a Better Self so you don't miss out on future videos that are designed to help you navigate life's challenges and opportunities. Remember, the key to self-improvement and personal growth lies in maintaining an open mind, embracing change, and understanding that the only constant in life is change.